Hello, this is Malorian, and this is going to be my second game of Onslaught 2011. So for this mission here, we deployed as if it was Blood and Glory, so 15 up, you have to be away from 9 from the sides, and the extra points here it's the same thing. Every single game would be the same like the first one, where you need double victory points for a win and triple for a massacre, but the main thing here is that every time you flank, you get an extra 100 points, and every time you get a rear charge, it's an extra 200 points. So there you have it. For my deployments, I have my savages, I have my black orcs, I have the other orcs there, our boys, orcs, and chariot. And up for him, my opponent, as you can see, is another greenskin player. He has one boss on a cave squig there bouncing around. He has a Cheka. He has a big unit of something like 50 orc with 2 choppas, and he has a big boss in there. Then he has a big unit of Savage Orc big guns, and make sure this is the old book, so he's paying a lot of points for this. And in there he has his Savage Orc war boss. He then has his goblin unit, and in there he has a BSB and his caster. And then he actually has a big goblin unit with spears, and in there is a big boss and another Cheka. Behind his lines somewhere, there's a oh, there it is. Between his orcs and the savage orcs, he has a doom diver, and on the far right, you can see that he has a little squig herd. So, oh, and in the woods, he also has some spiders. So, when this was being placed down, it was really nice because he kind of placed, and then I placed. So, I got to kind of place my things to counter him. So, for his night goblins, well, that's why I'm going into long formation, so I can kind of break those. Same thing to counter the goblins, and on the left side, I'm just looking to kind of go and smash these guys with my black orcs and then kind of work my way around. And on the far right, since he's out of leadership, I think I can easily hit his squeak herd with my chariot and explode that. So I think it's looking pretty favorable, but we'll see how it plays out. So my opponent gets first turn, pretty simple stuff. He moves up. His squig hopper only got 3 inches, triple 1, so that was kind of unlucky for him. And otherwise, yeah, moves up a tiny bit with shooting, kills a couple of black orcs, and otherwise I don't think he did anything with magic, so pretty simple turn. My turn 1, I take the fight to him fast, I declare my Wa, and okay, this was first harvest. Let's deal with the right side of the board first. First of all, I failed my charge on the squig herd, so that was no good. And then when I went to go charge his night goblins, he released his 3 fanatics, and in doing so, one went through the chariot, did like nothing, but the other one went perfect so that I landed on it with my orcs. It killed 20 guys. It was almost like the perfect rolling for him. And so, of course, with that, even though I beat him badly in combat, he was steadfast and he held. So that was really disappointing. My Savage Orc in the other unit, if you're wondering why they're not moving, is he failed Stupidity, so that didn't go anywhere. Our voice failed. And yeah, I really got him good on the top left there. The Black Orcs did their super far charge into his unit that had the big unit of Orcs, beat them, but unfortunately he got away. So he just basically hopped over the one Cheka. He panicked the Cheka, but now he's just going to rally, and that's basically didn't get me any points at all. So his turn 2, his squig herd charges my chariot, and I run away. His spiders are going to try and run through the gap there as fast as they can. His savage orcs try to charge my orcs, but failed, and he also hand of what is it, Gork, but he failed that as well. On the left side there, what happened there is his orcs rallied, but I don't really care about them because they have a Chuck in the way. And so I kind of goaded him into charging me with his one cave squig guy there. He came into me and I slaughtered him with my war boss, but what that meant is I could combat reform to face the flank of his savage orcs. So now he's just set up for a huge counter charge. So that's what I do, is I go and I do the counter charge, and then I issue a challenge. He takes it with his own Savage Orc war boss, and then when I was trying to explain to him how mine was set up, he was like, yeah, I know. And the reason for that is because he's actually one of my viewers. He watches, that's why he had the big unit of the spears, and he actually had the Savage Orc big guns, and his Savage Orc war boss here is exactly the same as mine, so a little bit of a mirror fight. So in that combat, it actually, we're needing 6s to hit each other. I did 2 to him, and he saved 1, and then he got the killing blow against me. So my war boss is dead, but, with all that combat res and all the damage I did, I beat them, broke them, ran them down. So that's huge. and at the same time you can see that on the right that my his night goblins failed as well, and I ran them down. So things are starting to fall apart for my opponent here. So his turn 3. His Squig herd here had charged my rally chariot and destroyed it. His goblins hit the flank, and so getting him points there, but of course I was steadfast and held. You can see that he reformed to get his guys so they can get around his Cheka, and that's all that really happened. You know, his one Cheka on the right side shot my chariot and did a couple of wounds, but you know, it's still alive. And so that's what happens here. My Black Orcs go and decide to take them on, and that probably would have been a fair fight, but then my other Orcs go and charge his Doom Diver, destroy it, and then hit into the flank. So, you know, as far as the mission goes, it's more points for me. As far as this fight goes, it heavily puts it in my favor. So after my turn, it looks like this. In the center there, he had been beating on my Orcs long enough. I finally passed my test to reform, so now I'm fighting him in hordes, so that's going to be huge. My chariot's ready to take off his one on the right there, and it looks like he actually held. You know, I beat him up, but the thing is he was still steadfast with all of that. So, you know, he's not going to last long, but, you know, he's obviously doomed. Alright, so my turn 2, and I decide to really go for it. I go up to my supercharge, and I'm taking on both his Bestigors and his Gors. So really the heart of his army I'm just diving into to try and tear it out first turn, and really, you know, after getting that first massacre loss, I just want to kind of show that the Orcs. So my side of 4, the main thing is my chariot went into the right Cheka, destroyed it, and now I've just combat reformed to be looking back. And in the center there, I just keep grinding him down, but it's just never enough to ever break him. Now this was a little bit funny. His Squig herd here makes this super long charge. I think he needed double 6s and got it. So, you know, these are probably his best unit of the game. You know, here they went around, beat one chariot, came over here, has been beating these guys. So whereas anything else has been failing, this little unit that he actually said is usually just to run up and explode and die has actually been his main offensive unit. And after it looks like this. So really, you know, he doesn't have anything else really left. His spiders had actually panicked at some point and ran off the board. That could have been from a spell or something. I can't remember at the time now. But, I mean, all his war machines are done. So all he has is a Squig herd and those goblins, which are still being ground down slowly by my horde of Orcs. And then my turn 5, this is pretty much it. You know, I hit the rear with the chariot, break them, run them down, and you know, at that point we say, okay, this is it, that's the game. So a massacre win for my Orcs, which was a nice change compared to how I did last time. Really what led to it was, you know, having the way that it was that he placed a unit and then I placed a unit worked out perfectly. I got every single matchup I wanted. My Black Orcs did what they were supposed to do on the left, just tearing things up. It was, you know, really funny that, you know, we had that mirror match with our war bosses. But even with that, you know, my Black Orcs were able to kind of beat that out. And as well, I think the one mistake he did was, of course, that Cave Squig attack that let my Black Orcs then turn around and get the flank of the Savages, which is totally, you know, flipped everything over. So a really bloody game, but a lot of fun.